Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel El-levate. If you saw my last video, you know that I'm officially here at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and I've started my Master's in Climate Change and Planetary Health. And today we're going to talk about one of the most necessary steps that I had to take to get here, which is the IELTS exam. So I'm not just sharing my scores, but I'm sharing my strategy, my mistakes, and the exact resources that I used to go from a C1, which is advanced, and a C2, which is proficient in English. These are band scores. I need a jump in proficiency in my score. I improved my score, and most importantly, how I hit the specific writing score that was required by my school. So let's get into it. First, we'll talk about why IELTS matters, and I'll also share with you my scores. So first, IELTS is short for the International English Language Testing System, which is mandatory for almost all international students. It proves that you can study effectively in English. So most universities, especially top schools like LSHTM, set a required overall band score and often a minimum score for some sections, or sometimes in all sections. In this school, for example, you need to get a 6.5 minimum in writing, and overall I think B1 or B2. For my first attempt, which I took on a computer, my listening I got an 8.5, my reading I got an 8.5, my speaking I got a 9, and my writing was a 6 on an overall band score of 8. That's a C1 band, which was really great. But the problem was LSHTM, like many top institutions, required a 6.5 minimum in writing. And because of the circumstances that I was in at the time, I'll not get into, I didn't retake that immediately. But when my scholarship confirmation came through, the deadline was set, I had to hit that 6.5. And I had very little time to prepare for the retake. So a general tip that I'll give you is don't just aim for the overall score. Know your school's minimum requirement for every single component. So with very limited time for my retake, I couldn't rely just on the classic Cambridge books, which I had access to at the time. You can also access this, and those that are essential, and you can find the materials and audio files online. Just search for them, type Cambridge IELTS books, and then you can find it with the audio files as well. For my second try, I focused on online resources for strategy. IELTS Advantage, you can find it on YouTube. It's an excellent resource, especially for tackling the writing and idea generation, which I wish I had used their writing practice more the first time. One thing I want to say here is when it comes to this kind of online resources, they will have a lot of resources for free online, which yourself you'll have to go through and tailor for yourself. But if you can afford it, they also have tutorials, and you can pay to get personalized feedback on your progress and all of that. So depending on your situation, you can use either the free stuff online or also the paid stuff. So another tip is IELTS Jacky. IELTS Jacky, I think this is a website, or you can try it on YouTube as well. It's fantastic for quick practical tips and segment strategies. Fast Track IELTS and English Pro Tips, they're great for boosting technique and speed. And also don't sleep on TikTok pages. Believe it or not, quick fire tips on social media, especially if you're a working professional, can be surprisingly effective for micro strategies. It will literally wire your brain for those skills. And the Gel IELTS Prep, don't forget this. When you register for the test, you often get access to the official IELTS Prep materials. Use them, log in, and use the stuff that's online there. It includes questions and all of that. And the most important thing is to practice. There's no substitute for repetition. Timing yourself and understanding the exam format inside it out. That will save you a lot of work. So like the first thing I'll suggest is you use all these resources, but understand the exam. IELTS lay out the exam, their marking strategies, what each of the sections look like for each of the components for listening, reading, writing, speaking. is out there. What you'll be asked is out there. So you can go through them. In this video, I'm going to just tell you like what resources are there generally for the IELTS, but you can write for me in the comments which specific areas that you'd like me to elaborate on, and then we can do another deep dive video either on speaking or on the others. Even though I was fortunate enough to score a 9 in the speaking on my first try, and here's my number one tip. Think of it like a coffee talk, like you're just having a conversation with a normal person. Do not try to memorize the answers, because there are also online answers that you can memorize, but don't do that. The examiner will spot this instantly. Practice focus on the skill of speaking, not the content of a pre-written answer. And make sure you practice a natural English sounding filler words or phrases you can use while you organize your thoughts. Things like, that's a fascinating question, or you can say, I suppose it depends on. This makes your speech sound more natural and fluent. Think in English. Before your exam, try to wire your thinking in English. Don't think in your local language. The more you immerse yourself, and if you can also talk to people in English and process your daily life in the language, the smoother your transition in the exam will be. So make sure like a few days before your exam, try to do this. And for my second test, my mood was affected right before the exam when I was told we'd use pens instead of pencil, which I had anticipated for the paper-based test. The small freak out affected my initial focus, and this is a reminder of my general tip. You need mental strength because unexpected things will happen. But thanks to the focused preparation, the second scores were the ones I needed. I got a listening 8.5, a reading a 9.0, and a speaking 8.5, and a writing of 7.5, which was the target to get 6.5 or above, and an overall band of 8.5, a C2 band. And my final most crucial tip is to take the grading criteria seriously. Evaluate your practice essays and speaking sessions using official rubrics before your exam. Knowing exactly what the examiner is looking for is half the battle. So before my second test, I had a scheduling issue. My original computer-based test, which is my first test, was computer-based. My second one, I also booked a computer-based test, and it was cancelled due to national exams being postponed, so the venue couldn't be free. So with a tight deadline, I considered remote testing, which I personally don't recommend, but ultimately I settled on the paper-based exam for the retake. And this gave me a unique perspective on the grade debate, computer-based or paper-based test. Computer versus paper-based. So from my experience, so here's what I learned. Across the sections for listening, the computer-based test wins hands down. You get excellent dedicated headphones, which makes focusing so much easier. In my paper-based test, I actually submitted a complaint because the audio quality was less audible and clear than I remembered in the computer-based test. And the computer-based test is better for listening. For reading, again, the computer format has the edge. You don't have to waste time flipping through papers and managing the text. Being able to highlight and navigate on screen simply leads to a less physical distraction and better time management. So the computer is way better. So the real difference was the writing. On the computer, I found my ideas could be a little disjointed, even with fast typing. For me, computer-based test was better because the physical act of writing helped my ideas flow more naturally. Because we're used to a lot of scribbling and taking notes, it just helps your mind think and your ideas flow. However, my overall advice is that computer is still better because you can overcome the writing challenges with specific targeted specific practice and idea generating exercises, which by the way I didn't do the first time and I did for the second time. So maybe it's those that helped me, and maybe it's my psychology which why I'm thinking like the paper is better for idea generation. So So these idea generation exercises, which are plentiful now, like those offered by IELTS Advantage, so I had to do it all over. So if I had to do it all over again, I choose the computer-based test. The advantages in the listening and reading are too significant to ignore. Now I'm very curious, which of these four sections, the listening, the reading, the writing, or speaking, are you finding most challenging right now? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll do a deep dive on your biggest struggles. And until I see you next week, bye bye.